Hey friends, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan. Today we're going to be doing a full face of my drugstore favorite items. I have more than would just go on one face, so I'm also going to be doing some honorable mentions at the end as well, just to give you guys a few more options. This was a pretty highly requested video over on my IG, so I'm really excited to share this with you guys. I'm going to be doing a get ready with me, talking about pricing, why I love the item, and then some comparable items as well. There are some categories that I don't have drugstore favorites for. If you have a favorite in that category, drop it in the comments and let me know. And yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling now. Per usual, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell before you leave, just so that you're notified of all my future uploads. And of course, if you like me, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and let's get into it. Okay, so I went ahead and brought you guys in a little bit so you can see better, because we're going to be showcasing these products in a get ready with me style. I have some soap sitting in the brows and I've already primed the eyes. If there's a category that I don't have a favorite drugstore option for, I will mention that. So for like eyeshadow primer, the Urban Decay primer potion is literally the only one that I use and will ever recommend. So I don't have an option for that, but that is the best one out there. And sometimes there just isn't a dupe for items. Like, that's just how it is sometimes. I'm setting the lid with the palette that I'm going to be using today. This isn't just like a drugstore favorite. This is like a top palette in my collection. I really love it. It is the BH Smitten in Switzerland palette. This is one of my all-time favorite palettes. I did a 1 week 1 palette with it last summer. I've only done a few looks since I have a large collection to work through, but formula-wise, color story-wise, this is one of my all-time favorite palettes. It is so beautiful. Today, I'm actually thinking I'm going to do something in the green and maybe a little bit with that orange, because this dip is like pretty deep and I've never hit pan in a BH palette before, so we might be close to pan or we might not be, but I want to check it out and I want to use that green. Yeah, so now that I got that base set, I really wanted to do that before I got like really yapping, so we don't get any creasing or anything. But I use the shade Montreux, and I'm gonna butcher a lot of these names and I apologize. But that's the shade I use to set everything. One of the things I really love about this palette is that it's super affordable. It's not expensive to start, but it often goes on sale as well. So you can easily pick this up for like $7 or $8. I'm gonna go into the shade Mountain and start putting that all over my lid. Really pretty green shade. But yeah, there is like kick up in the pan, but that doesn't bother me, never has. I don't really care about that, and I don't really care about fallout either, because I always do my eyes first, so it really doesn't bother me. But these shades blend out really nicely, and like I said, it's affordable. The shimmers pack a nice punch. If I was to recommend a drugstore palette, this is always the first one that I recommend to people. I really, honestly, I just love it. So that's what we doing. I'm gonna get in that corner there. I'm also testing out some new brushes, so bear with me. And I took that green up pretty far on accident because I was gonna go over it with some orange. And I still might try, we'll see. Not going anywhere today. I'm filming this on a Saturday, so I'm kind of like, obviously I'm filming, so I want it to look good, but I'm also just like playing with makeup, so not worried. What's your guys' favorite drugstore palette? Let me know below. Let me know. Okay, now I think I'm going to take a little bit of this orange shade Matterhorn here, and I'm going to kind of like just take that around the edge and see what happens. Okay, I don't really think that looks bad. Trust the process. Trust the process. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with this shimmer shade here, which is Mount Regi. And I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna clean up the under eyes and go back in and add some orange where need be. I feel like that'll help me be able to see the shape and what's going on a little bit better. I don't know, this is the first time I've done like this kind of look with this palette, but yeah, we're just going for it. I'm gonna go in with a more defined brush like this, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of setting spray to give it that bit of punch. And I'm just gonna start applying it, which this green shimmer shade is stunning. It's like one of my fave shades in the whole palette, to be honest. It is so pretty. And I'm gonna do like a lazy girl cut crease, where we're gonna like cut the crease just with the shadow. I'm not actually gonna go in and cut it with like concealer or anything. I do it that way just because, like I said, I don't always feel like getting my concealer out and actually cutting the crease. And then since the shade's gonna be similar, like, I think it will be fine. I do this often. You're gonna get some fallout with this, but again, that does not bother me because I do my eyes first. Always, except for this one time recently when I did a live with my friend and we were collabing on the same eyeshadow palette. So I did my base first to help save us some time. It was so weird. I probably haven't done my base first in like 1.5 to 2 years. It was so weird. Okay, I think those look pretty even. No pan yet, but that's okay. We might get it when we do the lower lash line. I've had that happen more than once with a pan that's like super close, and then I do my lower lash line and we get it. So we'll see. I'm just gonna clean up the under eyes and then I'll be back. Okay, see, I feel like it already looks so much better now that it's cleaned up. You can see more of the colors and how they're playing. So really liking that. For primer, I'm gonna go in with the Milani Bright Side. I think that this is a really great drugstore option if you're on the market for an illuminating primer. I've actually mentioned this in quite a few videos. It was in one of my most recent, like my current favorites, which I can link in the description if you haven't seen that one yet. It's kind of a mixture of high-end and drugstore items. But yeah, I just think that this is a really great alternative to like Auric or something like that. So really been loving this one. For foundation slash base, I don't have any like drugstore foundations in my collection currently. Well, I have the Catrice True Skin, but I haven't tried it enough to really formulate my thoughts and decide if I love it or if I don't love it. So I'm actually going to be using a skin tint. So I picked the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. I have the shade Light Medium. The shade range is absolute trash and it's so confusing. I'm just going to put a little on my hand and go with my brush. It's so confusing. Like, this is light medium, and then the shade that's marketed as light is darker than this. It is literally the weirdest thing, but I really love this tinted hydrator. If you can find a shade that works for you, it's super inexpensive. It's like literally like $6, and it goes on sale too. It's so crazy. But yeah, I really love this one. It blends out nice, provides like a light, like look how nice that looks. A light amount of coverage. But it's like not streaky or gross when I apply it, which something that I've struggled with tinted moisturizers, finding ones that actually blend out and look good. This one blends out, looks really nice, and it's long wearing. I work long days most of the time, and some days I work really long days, like 13 to 15 hour days. So whenever I go to work, I want to make sure that I have something on that's gonna look decent depending on where my day takes me. And this is one of those products that I can really count on. I realize it's a small component, but like I use probably like 2 squirts of this to do my whole face, and it's like $5 if you grab it on sale. So it'll last you a while, I feel like, and it's not like a replacement is going to break the bank. So yeah, that's the one that I would really highly recommend. I love it. Yeah, so I'm gonna continue applying this, then we'll go in with concealer. Boom. Okay, done. For concealer, I don't have a favorite drugstore concealer. I've tried a few and I've hated them all. I've also tried a few high-end concealers and hated them as well. The Dose of Colors concealer is my holy grail. It's literally the only one I use. I have some other concealers in my collection, but I use them to like cut the crease because I don't like them on my under eyes. So yeah, this is the only one. And if you've been around on my channel, you know it because it's literally the only one I ever reach for, the only one that I talk about. Like, this is my concealer, and that's pretty much where it ends. So I'll go ahead and blend this out and then I'll be back. Okay, so now we're gonna kind of mix my routine up a little bit, and we're gonna go in with blush because I don't have a favorite cream bronzer, and so we're gonna do creams and then we're gonna add my powders. So for blush, what took the cake for me is the new Milani blushes. This one is the shade Nude Kiss. I freaking love these. They're inexpensive, they're super long lasting, they blend out like a dream, and I really just love this shade. It's such a pretty like neutral, just like enough pink pop that I really like. So we're gonna use this first and then we'll go in with a powdered bronzer. But yeah, really loving this product. So this was definitely the one I wanted to showcase today. We'll add more if we need to, but yeah, these are super inexpensive. They do a really great job. I think they're super, like, look at that. They're so beginner friendly. And I think that that is important too, because cream blush can be so intimidating if you haven't used it before. And you can go straight in with your brush. Like, that's what I'm doing to add product as needed. I'm just going straight into the product with the brush. But how I normally like to do it is to go in with my finger first, like you guys saw, and then blend it out, because I just feel like I have more control that way as far as product application if I'm going in with my finger first and then blending it out. It helps me from getting, you know, too carried away with the product, because sometimes cream blushes, you don't know how pigmented it is until you're like, it's already on your face, and then you're like, I fucked up. So yeah, that's why I do that. But then for bronzer, I have a lot of bronzers that I love, but a lot of them are like higher end, or they are like a drugstore price, but they're not available like at Ulta or Sephora. So I kind of wanted to stick to that theme, like where you would be able to pick up all these items. And I think all of the items I'm talking about today, You actually can get at Ulta except for the Dose of Colors concealer, but that's not Drugstore anyways. But yeah, so I really have been loving the butter bronzer from Physicians Formula. I know this is a cult classic, but I only recently finally tried it. So I'm gonna just bronze up the face with this a little bit. Really love it, long lasting. I will say though, for being like drugstore, it's fucking expensive. Like, I highly recommend waiting for a sale on these because they do go on sale. But yeah, like, they're drugstore, but they're like $15. And I just think that that doesn't feel drugstore to me anymore when you're talking like 15 bucks for a bronzer. Like, you're getting into that midway price range. But these do go on sale, so I would pick it up then, honestly. But yeah, it just blends out super nice. The packaging is stupid, but I really like it the way it blends out, the warmth it brings to my skin, and the lasting power. So definitely a fave. Definitely a fave. So the next thing on my list is highlighter. This one probably won't come as a shock to you if you're, drop my brush. If you frequent over here, but my Physicians Formula highlighter in the shade Rose Gold. I really love this. Obviously, I use the flip out of it. I'm just gonna add that to the high points here. Then a little bit to the nose, and I like to go up here a little bit as well. But this again is, it's Physicians Formula, so it's marketed as drugstore. I would wait for a sale because it's like a $12 highlighter, which doesn't really feel drugstore to me. But yeah, because I was kind of looking and like, this is really the only drugstore highlighter that I have in my collection, to be honest. Like, I was kind of looking down there just to double check, but it really is. I don't know why. Well, it doesn't help that I haven't really been using or reaching for a lot of highlighter lately. I've really just been rolling with an illuminating primer and letting it do the work of a highlighter. So yeah, and I'm just tapping some of these lines out. And then what do we want to do next, you guys? Let's finish the eyes. Good call. So I think I'm gonna take some of that deep green shade that we used in the very beginning. Mountain. I know how to say that word. I just couldn't read it upside down. So I'm gonna take some of this and I'm gonna dip back into this and connect it kind of in the middle there. So it looks like it transitions pretty nice. And then I might go in with a little bit of brown as well. I think I'm going to deepen that outer up a little bit. Yeah, so I'm going to dip into the shade Chocolate here, and I'm just going to get a little bit of that and run it right over that green. Oh yeah, that looks pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay, and now I'm gonna go back in with my more defined brush and make some room on my vanity here. And I'm gonna dip into the Mount Rigi shade, which was the shimmer green. And I'm gonna get it like just on the tip, and then I'm gonna spray it down like pretty good because I don't want a bunch of like fallout. So, and this shade does have fallout. So yeah. I need concentration, sorry. And I'm just, when I go into the pan, I'm literally just taking the top of this brush so that all the product I want is on the end of it, so I can just tap it on. We got something. Trying to decide. I feel like I want something like a little bit of a pop there on the inside. And yeah, we got a pan! Woo woo! Pan party! Yes! If you're a panner, you get it. If you're not, you're probably like big fucking whoop. But yeah. Yes. Okay, so now I'm just looking for a super tiny brush. I don't know why I'm talking like that. And I think I'm gonna dip into I don't know if that'll blend too much. What do I want about this one? I think that one's gonna be lighter. So the first one I swatched was Glacier Express, and it had more of like a gray undertone. And I think I'm gonna go in with this one and apply just a little bit to the inner corner. So I'm gonna take an even more defined brush, dip in it, and do the same thing. I'm gonna wet it down. I just feel like it makes shades like this a little bit more easy to work with and avoids like a lot of that fallout. Yeah, I think that looks better. Brighten things up a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side and then I'll be back. Okay, so these next products I'm just gonna chat about and then I'm gonna do them and then I'll be back. So for liner on my lower lash line, my holy grail is Drugstore, and it's from Covergirl. It's the Ink It Gel Liners. And I've been using this for like 10 plus years on my lower lash line. So that's what I'm going to continue to use today. For my brow pencil, obsessed with the e.l.f. Instant Brow Lift. It's like $2. This is all I've been using for like a year. I love it. Every time I switch, I'm disappointed. So highly, highly recommend this one, and it's what I'm going to use today. For eyeliner, I don't have, other than obviously the one in my lower lash line, I don't have a felt tip recommendation for drugstore pricing. One that I really like is the Tartiest one or the Tarte Sex Kitten one. Those are my favorite eyeliners for the top to create a wing. I don't have a drugstore recommendation, sorry, but these are the ones that I love. Mascara, I also don't have a drugstore recommendation. My favorite one is still the Big Clean from Kosas, which I currently don't have in my collection right now. I'm waiting to replenish. I'm trying to be patient. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do those things, and then I will be back for the lip. Okay, so now that I got that on, I want to talk about my holy grail, my favorite drugstore lipstick. It's going to be the Milani 61 Matte Naked. This literally is the most underrated thing I've ever freaking tried. One, I love the shade. It's like a cool toned nude pink. Also, the staying power on these is phenomenal. It's super comfortable. It's like a really nice between like a cream and a matte. It has like, it's hydrating, but it's like not too creamy. Like, I don't know. These are fucking incredible though. Like, I love them. This is like, if you want a drugstore lipstick, this is the one I recommend. I actually picked this one up at Walmart. And just like, look how smooth it looks. Like, my lips, but literally better. Yeah, freaking love. I was gonna take my hair out of my makeup clips, but I don't know what it's gonna look like. It might look worse. But as far as like setting items, I don't have a favorite setting spray right now. I'm actually super not into setting sprays right now. I'm using them to wet my brush for like shadows and stuff, but I'm not into them other than that. And then for, I literally have something on my face and I'm looking for a clean brush to pop it off. There we go. And then for a setting powder, I do have a favorite. It's a pressed powder though, and it's not drugstore, but this is like the only one that I use. So it's the only one that I feel comfortable recommending. It's the Urban Decay All Nighter. This is like pretty expensive, but it does go on sale periodically for half off. That's when that's when I purchase my replacements. I recently bought a replacement during a half off sale, so that's kind of what I do. But yeah, I know a lot of people had requested to see a video with my favorite like drugstore items or like a starter kit, and I feel this would be a really good starter kit. Some honorable mentions I want to get into. Just, I mean, if you don't care about that, you can obviously go ahead and go. But I did want to share some honorable mentions too, because there are other things at the drugstore that I love. Okay, so for the honorable mentions, I have a few. For bronzers, HalfCaked. These are drugstore pricing. They're not available at like Ulta or Sephora, but you can get them from the HalfCaked website, and they go on sale often. You can get them for like $6.50. Full price, they retail for $8 though, so I still consider that to be drugstore. I have the shade You Were So Last Summer and Morning View. Morning View is a little bit more of a cool tone, and this is more of a warm tone. Love both of these, so I wanted to give them a mention. For blush, I have a few as well. If you're looking for a powdered product, I really love the Milani Baked Blushes. This one is in the shade 02 Rose d'Oro. Really pretty peachy blush and has a nice sheen to it. Really love this. This one is Colourpop pricing. This one is drugstore pricing. I don't even know if you can get this collection anymore. But this is from Colourpop. It's their Matchmaker blush. It is a bit glittery, but I love this tone on me and I love sparkle. So highly recommend this. Not sure if the rest of their blushes kind of like have the same formulation or not. I don't have enough from Colourpop to know. The next product is from Physicians Formula, and this is the multicolor stick in the shade Warm Coral. This is literally so pretty, you guys. I did a monochromatic look with this in the past and absolutely fucking loved it. So yeah, this one I highly recommend as well. Random plug, I am a Physicians Formula affiliate. If you guys want to check that out, that's in the bio as well. I do make a small commission. But yeah, so that's kind of it for like blush. Base palettes, the one that I love is the Pixi Honey Nectar Quad. This is also drugstore. These two pair really nicely together for a sheeny blush. This is next level. I love this bronzer. Like, this whole quad to me is just like, they hit it out of the park. Really love it. Highly recommend. And then the last product for a drugstore, because I just kind of wanted to give you guys like some options, I guess, because I like options, obviously. So yeah, I kind of wanted to share some of my other contenders. Would be the Colourpop Sandstone palette. I don't know if you can get this at Ulta, but this was like $11, so that is drugstore pricing. Really loved this palette, like truly fell in love with it. Over on my Instagram, I did like 4 or 5 looks with it, and I shared like, yeah, the palette, the looks, all the things, and my full thoughts. So if you want to check that out, it's over there. But really love this one and highly recommend. And yeah, that is it for this video. If you guys really liked this video or this concept, be sure to let me know by hitting the thumbs up button. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you guys in the next one.